Martin Murray is to have any chance of pulling off the upset, he cannot get off to a slow start and allow Billy Joe Saunders to pile up an early lead. He's got to come out sharp, fast and ready. This is it for Martin Murray, a fifth and surely last chance at winning a world title, going up against the undefeated Billy Joe Saunders. You heard him introduced as a guy having his 7th world title fight tonight. It's also his 16th fight with a major title on the line. He won Commonwealth, British and European belts before graduating to world honours. It's an extraordinary body of work that also includes an appearance in the 2008 Olympics and a Commonwealth Games gold medal as well. Billy Joe Saunders is a man who's done a bit of everything. But can he stay undefeated? Can he move on to a possible mega fight in 2021 and avoid the banana skin that is Martin Murray?
Tentative start from both fighters, quiet first minute, just feeling each other out, having a little look. Both of them not really committing and overextending, keeping a distance, both trying to jab to the body. Murray trying to take a step out every time Saunders commits.
It'll be interesting to see what little wrinkles Martin Murray can add to his game at this stage of his career. Can he do something different against the southpaw Billy Joe Saunders? I wondered, having seen a fight a couple of weeks ago, that Jamie Moore sent in one of his orthodox fighters to box out of the southpaw stance, and I thought, I wonder if he's going to try that with Martin, but I don't think Martin Murray would naturally look comfortable and at home at this stage of his career. Kind of an alien stance, and sure enough, he stayed orthodox.
Interesting tactics at the moment. You'd expect it to be the other way around. Murray doing the leading off, Billy Joe Saunders on the back foot. It's Billy Joe Saunders leading off on the front foot. Murray electing to take the back foot. I don't think he's being forced there at the moment. He's just sort of choosing not to come forward and trying to catch Saunders as he's coming in, which is a strange one, and brave tactics considering the pedigree of Billy Joe Saunders.
But it is, Paul, something different. This is not what we've seen from Martin Murray down the years, and they've obviously gone to work on that. Jamie Moore and his team with Martin Murray do something different. And I get the sense of that. If you're predictable against Billy Joe Saunders, he gobbles you up all night long. Here, Martin Murray's giving him a different look.
Yeah, and also Billy Joe Saunders has probably been training full camp for some fighters and sparring partners, and knowing that Murray is going to come at him non-stop. He could have done a full camp on the back foot, so to speak, but a little bit rough inside there with the heads. Not really an eventful first round. Really feeling each other out and trying to adapt to each other's style.
So relax in the shoulders and just relax a little bit all over. Yeah. Let me say something. Get that jab going. Feint it, show it, measure it. Got loads of time. Find a rhythm. Find a rhythm, yeah? There ain't a rush to find this rhythm, but find a rhythm, yeah?
Yep.
Right, boy?
Drink.
Suck it up, son. Suck it up. Drink. Come here. There you go. Good, Steve?
Good, yeah.
Suck it up in through your nose. All right?
Yep.
All right, so find your rhythm.
Okay.
All right, well done. Find your rhythm. Left leg, right leg. Yeah. Come in, Ange.
Second round, round 2.
Round 2 then. Two of the more highly regarded trainers in British boxing going to work against each other here, with Jamie Moore, the former European champion, in the Martin Murray corner, and Mark Tibbs, good pro in his day, now a very accomplished trainer, going to work with Billy Joe Saunders, who's flip-flopped his trainers over the course of his career. That seems a good fit with Mark Tibbs.
Yeah, it does, and both of the trainers that you mentioned, there's an interesting story behind them both, that they are actually both understudies as well. Jamie Moore being an understudy of Oliver Harrison, Mark Tibbs being an understudy of the great Jimmy Tibbs, his father. Oliver Harrison obviously passed away, affected Martin Murray a lot, and some would say a bit of poetic justice would be Martin winning his title tonight at the 5th time of asking. It's the first world title fight that he's had since the passing of Oliver Harrison, who he was very, very close to, as was Jamie and the whole of the gym up there in Oliver's camp at Jamie Moore's gym now.
Yeah, and did you see Jamie Moore and his entourage came out wearing Oliver's gym? That's a tribute to Oliver Harrison, who did so much work in the community as well. And, you know, Martin Murray was one of those guys that needed a focus. He was a bit of a bad lad, spent some time in jail. I think he's got the strength of character, Martin, that he would have turned his life around whatever, but he certainly found boxing to give him some focus, and boy, did he find someone in Oliver Harrison to really mentor him. And as you say, that whole camp was devastated, as was everybody else in boxing. That camp was hugely respected. You hope that somewhere he's looking down on this. Well, Billy Joe was exhorted by Mark Tibbs to get the jab going and find a rhythm. Murray's not really letting him do either at the moment.
Oh, bit of rough and tumble inside from Billy Joe Saunders, you know. Not really breaking when the referee tells him to. He's not leading with the head, he's not throwing the head in as such, but he's putting it in a place where Murray has to move out the way, get his own face out the way to reduce risk of a head clash. Billy Joe trying to follow the advice from his corner and trying to find that rhythm, which he's being ordered to do.
Money in the bank, son.
Got the jab through really sharp and fast there. Saunders and a little raid. So, certainly if it's a battle of speed, it's tough to see how Martin Murray wins this fight. I'm swinging and missing there.
So sharp, Billy Joe Saunders tonight, a lot sharper than Murray anyway early on. Murray trying to ease into the fight. Saunders landing a few more clean shots. Just looks that little bit sharper, Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, but Martin Murray is giving him something to think about here in what's been an intriguing, if not exactly electrifying, first couple of rounds. And for that, we can see Martin Murray still on the back foot, still feinting. Sergio Mora, are you intrigued as well by what we've seen in the first 2 rounds of this one?
That you just found for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You're going to make hard work
Well,
of this.
you're always going to be intrigued with Saunders. He's an excellent boxer, but he's tough as nails. And when it comes to Murray, we know what he's about. You know, at 38 years old, we know he's tough, we know he's durable. But when you're already thinking about retirement, you got one foot in the gym door and the other one outside, of course.
Well, all the experts are saying a Billy Joe Saunders win tonight, that Murray would be a huge underdog and it would be a big upset if the old campaigner could get the win. Are you in the Saunders camp ahead of this one as well, Sergio?
Yeah?
Yep.
Otherwise, you're going to
Well, when it comes to boxing, the 5th time in the charm. So Murray's going to be having an uphill battle. But when it comes to Saunders, I'm really impressed. I mean, he's sneaky, he's tough, he's fast, defensive, all around just a great boxer puncher.
Thank you, Sergio. Round 3 then of this 12-rounder. Billy Joe Saunders putting his WBO super middleweight belt on the line and his perfect record against Martin Murray, who had heartache before. Going back into his locker room in Germany after he lost to Arthur Abraham on a split decision. I didn't think he'd won the fight, although it was close, and he was absolutely devastated. There was literally nothing you could say, and I just put my head in there and realised didn't need to be there, and just left him to it and thought, oh, this guy's never going to get it, is he? And he had another shot after that. But remember what he did against Golovkin? Took him into the 11th round at a time when Golovkin was knocking over people for fun.
Yep, I agree. I didn't think he'd done enough to take the Abraham fight, but I thought he beat Martinez. And I've just noticed Billy Joe Saunders' corner working on a little tiny nick, little tiny cut on the top of his forehead. Obviously wasn't enough for us to notice during the round, but it's not pouring, it's not seeping too much with blood, but there must have been a little nick there because the cutsman had a swab on it. There was a bit of blood on the cut, so maybe a little clash of heads when they were coming close.
Still, Murray is employing this tactic of sitting back, feinting, dropping back, drawing Saunders on. Now he's coming forward, and now he's starting to walk onto a couple of those jabs. Saunders looks to bring the backhand into play again. But a switch up here from Murray, looking to get on the front foot, but not throwing, and that's allowing Saunders to sit behind that jab, and you don't want to get Billy Joe Saunders in a comforting place like that. He's so comfortable on the back foot, throwing out that jab, bringing in the left hand off the back of it.
Murray has to make Saunders work. If Saunders can have it his own way all night, I don't think he's going to get bored. I don't think he's going to switch off. You know, he's on the ball tonight. He's got to be forced to work hard, Billy Joe Saunders, for Martin Murray to have any chance in this fight.
Working in the uppercut there as well, Saunders, who does look comfortable. I mean, he is very mentally tough as well, Saunders. I mean, he'll have looked at Martin Murray and thought, oh, not expecting this, but he'll process that data.
Good shot there from Saunders again. Just knocks the head back of Murray.
Interesting hearing Joe Calzaghe, the great Joe Calzaghe, pre-fight, and he thought Saunders would win and possibly get a late stoppage. Now, that's a bold statement, bearing in mind that only Golovkin has ever stopped Murray, and it took Triple G 11 rounds to break him down.
Yeah. Listen, after 3 rounds, I can see that happening at the moment. Murray looks a little second behind Saunders. He looks to me like how I felt in my last fight, where it's there, your brain can see it, but your body just can't throw it in time. He just looks a little bit slow tonight, Murray. And as I said, you know, it's a long time out the ring also for him, and it's the wrong age to have that time out the ring. It's the wrong stage of his career.
On my hair. Yeah, all right, we'll go in.
But you relax it, so eventually you might double it.
Okay.
Or you go 1-2, just down the pipe. You get me?
Yeah.
Well done, son. Well done, son. Suck it up. Suck it up. I see a little bit of your rhythm coming in there in that round. Want more of that? Have to have it, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I put a bit of this on you?
Yeah.
You got me, Bill?
Got you, yeah.
Well done, son. Get that jab going. Mind rushing in. Don't rush in, yeah?
Okay.
Just chip away.
Okay.
Chip away.
Yep.
You're starting to find rhythm, and we need that rhythm, son.
Yep.
All right, boy? Go and do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out, round 4.
That right uppercut was the pick of the action from that 3rd round. Murray never saw it coming.
See Saunders coming out on his toes, trying to get into that rhythm, which Mark Tibbs in the corner keeps asking him to do. Fighters like Billy Joe Saunders, they need to be in a rhythm, you know, they need to be flowing and fluent in what they're doing. Confidence fighters as well, you know, if he's in a good mood and he's feeling good, then his hands will be let go.
I wonder if they've had a little bit of a tactical rethink in the Murray corner, because Martin is definitely starting to try and get himself on the front foot.
There you go.
Martin Murray on the back foot, you never really see it working consistently. Got through there with a nice right hand, Murray. Carry a full dig behind it.
Just saw the feet take a little tangle there. The southpaw stance of Billy Joe Saunders won't be too much of a problem to Martin Murray, who did probably thousands of rounds with his now trainer, Jamie Moore, while Jamie was still fighting. I believe they had great sparring up there in Oliver's gym. Again, you have to make Billy Joe Saunders work early if you're expecting to do anything later on in the fight with him, because him and his rhythm like that, he'll land, he'll gain more confidence, and once he's comfortable, he likes it all his own way.
And we've seen that at every level, British level, European level, world level. Once Billy Joe Saunders jogs to a comfortable lead, people say he fades a little bit in fights. I don't think he does. I think he thinks, well, I've built up enough of a lead here, I can just sit back and put it all in the bank and take it easy for the rest of the fight. And if, as I said right at the start of this fight, if Martin Murray is not there or thereabouts at the midway point, it's very hard to see how he's going to pull out the win.
Break, 1 step back.
See Murray having a little moan to the referee about the head, and you know, it's fighters moaning to the referee. I don't always agree with it, but he's right what he's saying. You know, Saunders isn't throwing the head in, he's not head-butting, he's just putting it in a place where it's making it completely uncomfortable for Martin Murray to be. You know, he's got to get out the way. The good left hand from Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, set up by that lead right as well. A lovely jab, bringing the backhand in off the back of it. Yep. For another one there, and Murray saw it coming, but he's getting pushed back here, Murray.
It was a nice 1-2, and that was what the corner was asking for during the interval. Mark Tibbs was asking Billy Joe Saunders for the 1-2.
Oh, lovely combination. Murray's shaken.
Murray's head is down.
On the floor. got away with one. Phil Edwards says that's a slip.
No, that was a knockdown for me.
It looked it to me too.
Crispy.
Well, there's a talking point. We'll bring in Sergio Moore on the bell for his read on that. But I thought Martin Murray was tagged by a combination. And he got tagged again there. This is a really good round for Billy Joe Saunders, and there's quite a gap opening up between these two now. That is not a good round at all for Martin Murray, who got away with one. Phil Edwards says that was a slip or a push, not a knockdown. Sergio, how did you see it?
I saw it as a knockdown. It was a right hook, I believe, around the guard of Murray. Saunders just firing on all cylinders. You got to watch out for every punch. There's that left hand. It was a straight left hand. And watch the right hook around the guard right here against the ropes. Boom.
But I'm not moaning. As long as he ain't hitting me. Yeah?
Yeah, that does look, the more you see it, the more that looks
That
like
right
a
hook
knockdown.
shook him,
Yeah.
but maybe he pulled him down a little bit.
Don't be mid-range or wrestling with him. Billy Joe. Got me? Stay there, suck it up.
Get
Relax.
to the half-time round, I'm going to say gears. You've got to hustle. Yeah? Little trigger first. Little trigger. As soon as you get everything on his chest.
Yeah, Jamie Moore earning his money in there at the moment. Yeah, I think Sergio got it right. There might have been just enough of a little push for Phil Edwards to say, no, I'm not having the knockdown.
Yeah, he sort of pulled him back with his elbow, and pulled him and used his own body weight against him, Billy Joe Saunders.
Nevertheless, Murray was badly shaken by that combination, particularly that right hook round the back of the guard. So Saunders knows that he can rattle Murray. Then he would have put Martin Murray on the deck, and he takes another one of those right hooks around the back of the guard.
This, to me, I can see a man who's feeling his age in there in Martin Murray tonight. You know, there's not really much coming back at the moment. When he's trying to throw his shots, he's falling in with them. He's overreaching, and he's being caught in counters by Billy Joe Saunders, who's looking sharp.
Beautiful left uppercut sliding in there as well. Now the jab is now starting to really fire for Billy Joe. And it's very thorough and methodical from him, isn't it? And as you say, less and less coming back from Martin Murray. This is as un-Martin Murray as I've ever seen him.
Yeah, listen, I can only say it because I've felt the way he's feeling at the moment. You feel your age in there, and I think what I'm watching, and I could be wrong, listen, but he has to make Billy Joe Saunders work. He's just been asked by Jamie Moore in the corner to give him a big round here. You know, go to work, really force the pace. He just looks his age tonight, and when he's throwing the shots, they're not really landing. He's fallen short with the shots. He's had a long, hard, grueling career with tough fights, hard fights. And it takes a toll and catches up with you, especially after a long layoff.
Yeah, neither of them have boxed in 13 months. Murray just had a tick-over fight that he won. Saunders managed to dig something out in the 11th round to get rid of Cosares, as we've already seen and talked about. But he's looking much sharper and very much on it. Lovely combination work, really good accuracy, breaking through the defences of Martin Murray, missing with the uppercut. But look at that, leading with a left uppercut there. But it's this jab that is starting to really discourage Martin Murray.
Murray's so brave, tough and stubborn, always has been through his career. As Sergio alluded to before, though, you know, when you've got one eye on retirement and you know it's coming to the end, whether you want to believe it or not, you've got one foot in the gym, you've got one foot beside the couch, ready for retirement. And when it gets tough in there, when you're taking too many shots off someone like Billy Joe Saunders, sharp, fast, stinging shots, it will make you question. We'll see the mentality of Murray coming through here.
Yeah, this has been a tough 5 rounds for the St Helens man. Managed to get the body shot in there, but no, there's just too much coming back at him. Saunders did miss and took a right to the body, but then just fired back a 3-punch combination. Well, Mark Tibbs certainly sounds happy.
Yeah. But you've got to instead of falling short, you've got to measure more. You get me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that, Bill?
What a jump.
Pull your feet out. What you're doing, you're committing, and it ain't there.
Okay.
He shouldn't be, you know, stepping back.
Okay.
All right, so don't commit if it ain't there. Okay. Are you off? You okay?
Yeah.
Well, not everything with that jab is landing, but it is setting everything up, and it's giving Murray something to think about, and he can't find the answer to it at all.
I think just with myself, I know Martin Murray well. I've watched him all through his career. We were amateurs together on the same team for England, and boxing together as amateurs as 10, 12-year-old kids. This isn't the Martin Murray that I've seen giving the best in the world challenges and making them know that they've been in a fight at the moment. And listen, it could be the layoff, it could be the 11-month, 12-month layoff, however long it's been for him. It could be the fact that he's feeling his age in here, and Billy Joe Saunders is a very good, tricky, technical fighter, but there's not much coming back from Martin Murray tonight, which we're not used to seeing that.
Well, you know him so much better than me, but I think I said it earlier. I've never really seen Martin Murray like this. I mean, Martin is a no-frills guy. You know exactly what you're getting with Martin Murray, but tonight, whether, as you say, he's just got old, it's just one fight too many, or whether Billy Joe has just neutralised him completely, either way, Murray cannot get his game plan going at all at the moment.
And I feel for fighters like Murray, and listen, every fighter out there at the moment, because you've had an enforced 10 to 12 month layoff, which wasn't your fault. And if you're on the back end or on the back nine, as we say, it's really sad. It's sad to see fighters who would have been active and more active and maybe retired by now because they had them the last fight or the last payday or the last shot and the last roll of the dice, but they've had an unwanted 12-month layoff, 11-month layoff because of what's happening in the world with COVID.
Billy Joe switching stance briefly there, went orthodox. Lovely body shot.
Low,
low.
Yeah, low. You could hear Martin Murray say, they're both. I think Martin's tried a couple of low ones himself, not intentional, just borderline. That may have been Billy Joe's answer to, the ref didn't see them, so I'm going to take the matter into my own hands.
Well, the way he delivered it was absolutely terrific, but he was low.
What's that? Break? Well, you watch your head and don't punch when I say break. Box on.
Yeah, I think he's starting to get pretty frustrated in there, Martin Murray, now.
Yeah, there's been a few times he's had a moan to the referee, and it's not like Martin Murray, really.
Work it out. What's that head, Billy?
There's the head again, what I'm talking about. He's not putting it in. He's not.
Time out.
He'll tell.
Both of you. No chat. Right? You watch that head. I told you. Right? Cut out the rough stuff in close and keep it clean. You understand? Understand? What's that? Box up.
Billy Joe Saunders being the old cagey fighting man that he is, he's not butting with it. It's not a headbutt, but he's putting it in a place which is making it impossible for Martin Murray to stay in that position. It's just old tricks of the trade, old experienced tricks of the trade, leaving the head in a place that's very uncomfortable for Martin Murray.
Murray is getting so frustrated by it, isn't he?
Which will open him up more and allow Billy Joe Saunders to land the shots that he wants to land.
Not that he's having too much trouble landing the shots he wants to land as it is. I mean, we're getting close to the midway point of this. And I did feel, as I said earlier, Paul, coming into this one, if Murray was there or thereabouts at the midway point, we might just be looking at an upset, but it's tough to make much of a case for winning a round.
The betting odds before this fight for Billy Joe Saunders to win by a stoppage, because obviously Martin Murray is so tough, are very wide, but I don't think they've read into this fight and what it actually is at the moment. Billy Joe Saunders is only going to get better from now on in my opinion.
So I bet those in-play odds are shifting round by round. Well, we're at the halfway point of this one. Sergio Mora, what are your thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Well, I think the most irritating thing for an older fighter in his late 30s is to make him feel his age, and Billy Joe Saunders is doing just that, not standing in front of him, not letting Murray plant his feet, not letting him get off, making him feel every year of 38 years old. And that's exactly what you got to do with fighters like that, with old bulls that have so much experience. Saunders is pitching a shutout.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Let me just ask you a bit of an unfair question here, Sergio Mora. Let's say that you are Jamie Moore, Martin Murray's trainer. What can you think of that could change the dynamic of this fight?
Yeah. It's going to be tough, but I would say you got to bully and get a little bit dirty with Saunders. You got to get on the inside and you got to maul him. That's the only thing that stops those young legs.
Oh, can he do it? That's the question. Sound advice. Murray hasn't been able to be the bully boy, hasn't been able to get inside, hasn't been able to apply any kind of consistent pressure at all. The tricky back foot stuff that we saw in the first couple of rounds, that didn't really work either.
I think Sergio's spot on what he's saying. You know, we said this, we would expect it from the first round. It's a good left hand from Saunders. We expected Murray to try and, you know, pressure and force the fight with Saunders from the first bell. He came out on the back foot, trying to almost ease his way into it. And you need to make someone like Billy Joe Saunders work really hard early if you want to have any success later on. It's a good left hand from Murray, yeah.
One of the best shots he's landed. Sergio says Billy Joe's pitching a shutout after 6. I must admit, I was looking at my card and thinking I can't make a case for Martin winning a round. So I'm glad I'm not alone, but I think you're pretty much in agreement as well.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. You know, it's been tough to score for Murray here.
Another one around the back of the head, and Phil Edwards going to work again, but I don't think either of these guys are the type that's going to be intimidated by any rough stuff. All the reports coming out of the Billy Joe camp. You don't always believe everything you hear because false messages get sprung out of camps as well. But all the reports that I heard, Paul, and you'll have heard better sources than me, were that Billy Joe was really switched on and focused for this one.
Yeah,
and just knew the importance of it.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good body shot from Billy Joe Saunders. The reports were that he obviously was switched on, very good, and he must have been switched on for you know, the typical before and after pictures which you saw, because we all saw the photographs of Billy Joe looking very heavy. You know, we heard Eddie Ains explaining, and Tanner mentioned that he was, you know, close to 15 stone, and he's probably lost about 30 pounds to get down to this, but over a long period of time, where he's been training for a long period of time, with his back with the new old trainer, so to speak, in Mark Tibbs.
Break! No punches. One step.
15 stone. When it needs a translation, 210 pounds.
No shoulder.
Good left hand landed there from Saunders. You see a little acknowledgement from Murray, yeah.
There's the head again.
One step back.
Boring in.
Keep it tight.
It's a tough one with the head because Billy Joe Saunders has an argument that his head is down and he's walking forward, you see. He's not in an unnatural position with his head.
Well, this is getting really quite bad-tempered there, right on the belt. Martin again reacting. Billy Joe just saying, well, no.
Referee Phil Edwards just said to Billy Joe Saunders, next time it's a warning. That was the 1-2 at the start of the round, right down the pipe, good shot. Again, that's what his trainer Mark Tibbs was asking him for earlier.
They're locking on. He's dipping his chin.
Mark Tibbs actually arguing his man's case there.
And I can see the point. I know what Billy Joe Saunders is doing. The referee knows what he's doing, but in Billy Joe Saunders' defence, he's in a natural position with his head. He's the shorter man in there. He's dipping down and his head's in a natural position. He's not lifting his head up or pushing it towards Martin Murray. His head's in a natural position.
You ever sparred with either of these guys?
I sparred with Martin Murray as amateurs. I've done a couple of rounds with him when he just turned pro as well, but I've never been in the ring with Billy Joe Saunders. I was a little bit older than Billy.
Well, it's round 8. Rounds are getting away from Martin Murray, who, there's the heads all getting closer. It really is getting pretty rough and untidy in there. Well, I mean, Sergio said that he's got to try and get in there and be the bully boy. I mean, maybe if Murray can turn this into some kind of street fight,
I say break, don't punch, okay?
might give him just a chance, because he's not winning anything this way. And again, lovely work. He looks so much sharper, so much faster tonight than his opponent, Billy Joe.
Starting to find the target now, starting to step the gears up a little bit, put his foot on the gas.
And Murray is as tough as a lump of granite. He'll just take this and keep coming back for more, but
this is the type of fight what Murray needs. This is what he needs to have a chance of winning.
But it's surely too late in the day already. And again, it does take some punishment when he goes in. Oh, that's a real.
There was a couple of low ones just before that from Murray, you know, and I was going to mention there's a couple of low ones and Billy Joe Saunders didn't open his mouth about it. And again, like I said a couple of rounds ago, maybe that's his way of answering back because he didn't moan to the referee. But on the slow-mo and the replay, we'll probably see at the end of the round, there was a couple of low ones from Murray just before that. I'm not justifying it, but, you know, he's a fighting man, Billy Joe Saunders. He'll take things into his own hands.
I tell you, Phil Edwards might take things into his own hands here.
I ain't doing nothing. Listen, tidy the both of you, okay? Tidy it. Back there.
You see Martin Murray saying, I'm not doing nothing. You know, Billy Joe has obviously said to Martin, you caught me low before it.
It's quite a respectful build-up. I mean, there'd been a talk of a fight a couple of times in 2018 and Billy Joe pulled out. There was a bit of chit-chat about that, but other than that, it was very respectful in the build-up. Anything but in there at the moment. Yeah, I'm just looking at Martin Murray here, and how many fighters would be pretty much out there already by now if they'd been on the receiving end like this, but he's so tough and so brave and so willing, Murray.
I don't like this talking to the referee from Martin Murray, you know, and when Billy Joe Saunders is getting inside, Martin's lifting his head intentionally to make it look like Billy Joe's putting the head in.
One step.
Beautiful work.
One step.
Good point. Joker.
Anytime Murray does try and generate any rhythm, Billy Joe is so good at just tying him up. And
stop moving, both of you. Box on.
The referee having to say to fighters, stop moaning, Bolty. That's, you know, that's not boxing, is it?
No.
Boxing's one of the sports where the lads and the girls do not moan to the referee.
Phil Edwards has been very generous with both of them. I think if I was him, you'd have might just have taken the point off one of them just to set an example, really, as much as anything. But he's giving them plenty of latitude here.
Oh, nice shot.
And Murray has just
Two
walked
lovely
through
uppercuts.
it. He's walked through it, though, but he's had to hold on here.
Beautiful.
He's so brave, isn't he, Martin Murray? That's never been in question, but he is really on the receiving end of what is turning into a really rough brawl now. And Saunders, look how cocky and confident he looks as we see the bell at the end of that one. It's turning into a bit of a roughhouse here, isn't it, Sergio?
Yeah. Anytime you get a southpaw that can do everything in there, Saunders has every punch in the book. He steps back with those uppercuts. He has that excellent jab, straight left hand, gets the angles, and the more confident that a fighter like Saunders gets, the more dangerous he is. I mean, just a brilliant performance on Saunders' part.
Are you surprised that Martin Murray's still there? Because he's taken a lot of punishment.
He's going to fall in, and then you can whip that round.
No, that's actually what I expected from a fighter like Martin Murray. You know, he reminds me of a British version of Gabriel Rosado, who was an old opponent of Murray. Just, you know, they're going to leave their guts and blood on the ring. I mean, Martin Murray said it himself. You know, he's going to leave his soul in the ring. So that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. There never has been any quit in Martin Murray, and he knows that this is quite possibly the last fight of his career. He doesn't want to leave anything behind, does he? He said, incidentally, he fights against Felix Sturm and Arthur Abraham. He just felt I had a little bit left. I could have put a bit more in. I think it's really bugged him. It'll bug him probably for the rest of his life that he feels he could have put a bit more in. But here, he's giving it everything he's got, but he is just second best in pretty much every department here. Billy Joe has got his measure. Lovely backhand lead there. Pumping through Murray, who's just soaking it all up. Round 9. Still can't make a case for Murray winning a round, you know.
If Murray has any left, what he's saying, and any regret-wise, anything, you know, the old saying of the Rocky movies, you know, anything left in the basement, this is the chance now to leave it all in there. There's 4 rounds left. If you lose this fight, you're not going to fight again. If you win the fight, the only fight you're going to have is the rematch. Leave it all in there, you know, and he needs to come forward now. He needs to go for this fight, because you're right what you're saying. You know, there's an argument about not giving him any rounds. I haven't given him a round here yet, so he has to go for it. There's a good right hook from Billy Joe Saunders.
There's another one right around the back of the guard. Yeah, Murray just trying to dare him to come in there, and Saunders not interested.
That's it, mate. Full short.
It really, I mean, we've seen plenty of Billy Joe in the past where we've seen flaws and weaknesses. Haven't seen any of those tonight. This is one of those fights that's showcasing Billy Joe Saunders' strength and variety. Body shot that was this time, yeah.
Murray's hurt. That was a good body shot. Two body shots. Good combination from Billy Joe Saunders.
This time, as Murray drops the glove, Saunders does accept the invitation.
One step. Let him out. Well done, that's it.
Just took a step back and then another step back when those two punches landed there, Martin Murray. You see the grimace in his face, and the right, left uppercut there from Billy Joe Saunders. I think Saunders can smell the blood here.
There it is, the head again. Murray just can't deal with that at all, but yeah, he's really stepping it up. There was no measuring there from Billy Joe Saunders.
Just needs to turn the screw here, Billy Joe Saunders. Martin Murray's not looking in a good place at the moment.
Another uppercut, not quite a clean connection there. Enough to jolt the head though of Murray. And there he gets countered, Murray. And he is breathing so hard and heavy, and Saunders is just roughing him up and beating him up at the moment.
Not much coming back at all from Martin Murray, you know.
You know,
Jamie Moore in the corner, he knows where he's at, he knows exactly what's going on here at the moment. He's been in this position before with Tommy Coyle as well.
you just took the words straight out of my mouth. I was about to say to you, I wonder if Jamie Moore's got a decision to make here. It would be a huge decision, given the importance of this fight for Martin Murray.
I want to slip round.
He hasn't won a round for me, and for most people probably. There's 9 rounds gone. There's 3 to go. It's not looking like the tide is going to turn in this fight, and he's just took more shots in that round than he has in probably, you know, the last 3 or 4.
Yeah?
Yep.
Right, boy?
Yeah.
And listen, I'm telling you, a little bit solid in the next round, yeah?
Yeah.
You might have to have a fight, but try and have a rest, yeah?
Okay, yeah. Get a drink, Colin.
All right?
Yeah.
And so you have to use that that right lead then to have a rest, yeah? All right? Don't force it, Bill. If you measure with him. Measure and feint.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was a good round, son. Surprising everyone.
Every round's been good. Here, a lesser man than Martin Murray would have been out of there by now.
Second out, round 10.
Round 10.
I don't think we'll see one more round like that. I think if this is a one-sided round, I can expect the towel to come in.
Well, I just saw that hug from Jamie Moore, and you did too. That's the body language that says, I'm not letting much more of this go on.
That's the body language of get out there, son, and leave it all out there. Give everything you've got, because, yeah, I'm not going to let another one of them go by.
Now, it's the 10th round. What's been a very, very one-sided defence of Billy Joe Saunders' WBO super middleweight title. So he didn't want to talk too much about the winner of Canelo Callum, but he did admit that that's the one that he wants the winner of in 2021, and he feels that your brother can win that one. We'll know soon enough. Certainly it's going to take something extraordinary here for Billy Joe to be upset, and again the array of punches that come from Saunders. It was either you or Sergio, somebody tonight said he's just got every punch in the book.
Not with that elbow.
Billy Joe Saunders thinks Callum Smith can beat Canelo. I think Callum Smith will tell you that he thinks Billy Joe's got a very good chance of beating Canelo as well. You know, for me, there's not many fighters out there that could beat him. That's a nice right uppercut there, sickening one from Billy Joe Saunders.
I'll tell you, the accuracy tonight from Billy Joe, as I say that over misses, but I mean the accuracy overall has been exemplary from the Hatfield man, and Murray is getting just battered around the ring here. He really is halfway through this 10th round, and it's been no better than the previous 9 for Martin Murray, who looks very, very tired. Body shot on the end there as Murray defended upstairs. Saunders found the gap downstairs, missed with the uppercut there, Saunders. Finishes off with the left hook as well.
Right, come on lads. One step, come on.
Keep your eyes on him. Now. Keep your eyes on him.
Hasn't pressed or forced anything, Billy Joe. He's quite happy just to keep it going at this level. Not trying to look for the big stoppage or anything like that. I think that's very much the story of his career, though, as well. If he hasn't needed to do anything, he won't. He'll just take whatever's there and play it safe.
Yeah, and again, you know, Billy Joe Saunders is not noted to be the biggest knockout puncher out there. The biggest puncher out there, I think, is at 14 out of 29. If he got the stoppage here tonight, it's a 50% knockout ratio. But he's accurate and the shot is stinging, and he's certainly not a light puncher, you know what I mean? He's a hurtful puncher when he wants to be, and he'll throw the punches in combinations, and he's accurate as well, as I've mentioned. You know, he's a class fighter.
He's a heartbreaker, isn't he?
Yeah. And I think that's what he's slowly doing to Martin Murray tonight.
Oh, more of the same. That sharpness of that, the speed, the uppercut at the end. Murray never saw it coming. Absolutely beautiful punch selection.
Suck it up, good boy. Suck it up.
All you got to do, when you're committing, when you want to put it on, you've got to trigger first to draw that little hesitation out of it. Because if you don't, you let your work change. You've got to trigger and then
Right.
Yeah?
Round. All right? 11th round. Suck it up. Oh, don't stay switched on, son. Do not go lazy on me. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Hit and don't be hit.
Well,
All right?
both the coaches issuing their instructions, and Sergio, I don't know about you, I'm a little bit surprised that Jamie Moore is still trying to work out some little tactical wrinkles for Martin Murray. It's very, very late in the day to be trying to make tactical changes, surely.
I'm very surprised myself, especially him being a former fighter himself. But this is a time where usually we see Saunders fading a little bit or putting it on cruise control, as we like to say across the pond. But he wants to make a statement. I can see Saunders looking for that statement victory and being the second man to stop Murray. And he's going for it.
He certainly is, and you're so right, that is a knock. And there haven't been many against Billy Joe Saunders. I remember the John Ryder British title fight ages ago, and another beauty there again. Against Chris Eubank, he put the rounds in the bank and then just sat back and said, "Okay, I've done enough," and he did fade. And I think that's a reputation he just wants to just dispel here if he can. Sergio's absolutely right. I think he is motivated to get Murray out of there, but I think he's also very respectful of Murray's track record and his toughness.
Sergio's right again. He knows what he's talking about, and it is, you know, he's not just flicking the switch and putting it into cruise control. He's keeping his foot on the gas. He's trying to get the stoppage. Listen, Martin Murray to me doesn't look the same fighter tonight, but it still will be a statement stopping Martin Murray, especially when we just mentioned about Billy Joe Saunders' power, or you know, not being the most devastating punches, but being very accurate with his punch selection. So stoppage against Martin Murray is a good victory and a good decision.
Well, there's only one person who's ever done it, a peak Triple G. Triple G was getting people out of there 3, 4, 5 rounds. Murray dragged him to 11.
Oh, get your hands up. Go on, get him out. Get him out.
He hasn't got him yet.
Okay, break. One step.
And listen, Murray's not getting hurt here, but again, you know, it's been a very, very tough ask to give him any of these rounds. That's a good sickening body shot that's gone in there from Billy Joe Saunders. Right to the pit of the stomach, straight backhand to the body.
That's more like it.
Oh, good shot again.
Goodness me, this is actually getting painful to watch now. It really is. I said it earlier, I don't know if you agree with me, there's not many fighters in the world that would still be standing at the end of a one-sided beatdown like we've seen here, but it's typical Martin Murray.
Yeah, he's a proud man, and,
He really is.
And again, you know, he's a tough man, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he has to take it. He's not looking like he's going to knock Billy Joe Saunders out. It's the 11th round, you know, you don't need to take this many shots just to go the distance.
Yeah, he's just picking his shots so well here, Saunders.
Break, referee. Break. Both of you. You know what to do.
One round to go. Billy Joe still pitching a shutout here.
That's okay.
All right?
Yeah, talked.
Can you give us another round like
100%.
that? All right, 100%, because we need it. Do not... Cheers, ref. Do not switch off, yeah? If you can get 2s and 3s, lighten up the load. What I mean lighten up the load, so they're rattlers. Yeah? Rattlers, man, rattlers. Little short rattlers on them whiskers, yeah?
Yeah.
Suck it up.
Drink.
I'd love to know how that's getting translated in the United States.
I'll should be
Rattlers,
shots,
rattlers on the whiskers, there you go.
I'll show you shots. I can't be shot all the way through it.
Wow, you fucking had that
Yeah.
Here. Hello.
Oh, come on.
Here is your talk.
All right, mate.
Push him up, lads.
Second out. 12 and 5 rounds.
Last round then, between two guys who you can see really respect each other. And is this the last 3 minutes in the career of Martin Murray? You can say 5th time he's challenged for a belt. As this, I think it's the first time he's been comprehensively outclassed.
And again, you know, no disrespect to him whatsoever. We're saying that knowing that he's been in with the likes of Golovkin, the likes of Martinez, Stern, Abraham, and the likes. And this has been the most comprehensively one-sided fight that he's been in there with. You know, I think age caught up with him tonight, and unless he knocks Billy Joe Saunders out in this round, then it is the last 3 minutes of his career. It has to be.
Saunders still continues to pick some really nice shots. And a very mature and very polished and business-like performance from Billy Joe Saunders tonight. Very switched on, very focused, has never allowed Murray. There's never been a moment in the fight where you thought, oh, he's letting Murray in here. I mean, he's given him absolutely nothing.
And again, you know, I keep saying there's another good left hand from Saunders there. I think Martin Murray a couple of years ago would have been in the fight and would have been competitive. And it's just, it's age. He's not just fighting Billy Joe Saunders tonight, he's fighting Father Time. And it beats everyone, doesn't he, Father Time?
Well, Father Time's way ahead on points as well tonight. I think he's going to call time at the end of this one. Martin's a good pro and he's had a terrific career, and when you realise where his life was when he was a youngster and a teenager and in jail and all sorts of a mess, what a man he's become. And boxing has helped him. He's a family man, he's a good father, he's a devoted husband and an all-round good guy who is respected by everybody on this side of the Atlantic. But I think anybody who is a friend of Martin Murray needs to say to him after this one, if he's thinking of going on, no, wrap it up.
Yeah, everything you said is correct, you know, and more. You know, I can only add to that and agree totally. Gentleman has an amazing career from the position where he was, you know what I mean? As a kid growing up, he was a good boxer. And he's excelled, and he's achieved so much in the sport of boxing in this country. So, you know, head held high. But this isn't nice to see.
No. But you know what? Martin's going to see the final bell. We're down inside the last 30 seconds here. And the only discussion to be had is how wide are those scorecards going to be. Steve Gray, Marcus McDonald, Bob Williams, the 3 judges at ringside. It should be a pretty comfortable decision and an easy one. Yeah, Billy Joe's not going to try and do anything silly here because he respects Martin Murray as well. And you can be sure Martin Murray respects Billy Joe Saunders. Well, it's all over. And Sergio, would you agree with us that maybe it is time now for Martin Murray, that somebody needs to take him to one side and say, enough?
No, hands down. I think we know what Martin Murray is. He's a 5-time title challenger, a tough guy, someone that always can go into the championship rounds with a blue-collar effort, but he just doesn't have that it factor to win a championship.
What about Billy Joe tonight? I mean, you know, I'm assuming you're seeing it the same as us, very, very wide. How would you grade Billy Joe tonight?
It was a bravo performance on Saunders' part. I like the fact that he didn't put it on cruise control. He tried to get that statement, that knockout in the end versus a fading Murray. But you know, that's what you have with Saunders. He fights with a high fight IQ, and he doesn't go to war. He snipes away. He's a sniper, and if he can't get that one shot, he'll just let it go into the decision, and that's what he did here.
It's good to see that there was respect between the two of them, and Billy Joe having a word with Phil Edwards, the referee, there at the end. And it did get messy and scrappy, but it was never had a nasty edge to it. And it was nice to see Mark Tibbs and the rest of that corner congratulate Martin Murray as well for his efforts tonight. But Paul, I'm looking at my card. I've got nothing but 9s against Martin Murray's name.
No, and listen, it happens. It's going to happen in a lot of people's career. You just go in that last fight thinking you're still a fighter from 2 years earlier, and it just catches up with you in there, and stuff you're trying to do, your brain can see it, but your body just can't do it. They say it in football, the old players try and do the same. They just slow down, don't they? And, you know, that's the sport that we're in. Unfortunately, Father Time beats everyone.
Well, this shouldn't take long. And really, it just remains to be seen whether it is indeed a shutout for Billy Joe Saunders. The decision is coming up any second now. Good to see Martin Murray can still raise a smile.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Steve Gray and Bob Williams both scored the bout 120 to 109. Marcus McDonald scored this contest 118 to 110. All three for your winner by unanimous decision. He's still undefeated and still the WBO Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Billy Joe Saunders.
It was never in doubt. The two warriors having a good conversation at the end there. You know there is huge respect between the two of them.